Before you continue watching, ask yourself this honestly. Why does your heart feel heavy around this person, even when nothing is wrong? Why do you feel restless after talking to them instead of calm? Why do you keep thinking about them, but never feel at peace? This is not normal, and deep down, you already know it. You've been ignoring small signs, making excuses, telling yourself, maybe it will get better, while your heart keeps getting quieter and heavier. But what if I told you that this feeling inside you is not confusion? It's a warning from Allah. Before your heart gets too attached, before you lose yourself trying to hold on to someone who was never meant to stay. Because not every connection is a blessing. Some are a test you're meant to walk away from. And if you ignore this now, you won't understand it today. You'll understand it later, when it hurts more. So don't skip this, because what you're about to hear might be the message Allah has been trying to show you again and again, but you keep avoiding. When Allah removes your peace, He is revealing what your heart is trying to ignore. There was a time when your heart felt calm, even in quiet moments. Even when life was not perfect, you still felt a kind of inner stability, a softness inside you. End quote. But then this person came into your life, and slowly, something changed. You began to think more than usual. Small things started feeling heavy. Your chest felt tight for no clear reason, and your mind became noisy, even in moments that should have been peaceful. And instead of stepping back and questioning the connection, you started blaming yourself. You told yourself, maybe I'm just too emotional. Maybe I'm overthinking. Maybe I'm the problem. But deep inside, there is a part of you that knows something doesn't feel right. Because Allah does not remove your peace without wisdom. When your heart starts feeling uneasy around someone, it is not always weakness. It is often awareness. A quiet message from Allah, trying to wake your heart up before it gets too attached, before it gets too hurt. Because what is truly written for you will not constantly disturb your soul. It will not make you feel restless again and again. It will not take your calm and replace it with confusion. Real connection brings a sense of ease, even in difficult moments. But when your heart keeps losing its peace around someone, that feeling is not something to ignore. So don't rush to silence it. Don't try to cover it up. Don't force yourself to feel okay. Pause for a moment and ask yourself honestly, why does my heart feel this way? Because sometimes that loss of peace is not something going wrong. It is Allah gently showing you what your heart is trying not to see. The red flags you keep excusing are the signs Allah already showed you. If you're honest with yourself, you saw the signs from the beginning. It wasn't all hidden. It wasn't all confusing. There were moments, small but clear, where something didn't sit right in your heart. The way they spoke, the way they disappeared, the way they made you feel unsure without saying anything directly. You noticed it, but you didn't stop, because you wanted it to work. So you started doing something very dangerous. You began explaining what didn't need to be explained. You gave reasons for their behavior. You softened what felt harsh. You ignored what once would have been unacceptable. And slowly, without realizing it, your standards began to change. Things you once said, I would never accept this, suddenly became, maybe it's not that bad. This is how attachment quietly takes control. It doesn't force you. It convinces you. And it makes you see clearly, but choose blindly. And the truth is, Allah already showed you. Those red flags were not random moments. They were not meaningless mistakes. They were early warnings, a kind protection from Allah before your heart became too involved, before walking away became harder. But when you ignore those signs, you don't remove the problem. You delay the pain, because what you excuse in the beginning, you will eventually feel in a much deeper way later. And this is where many people get trapped, not because the signs weren't there, but because they chose not to accept them. They hoped things would change. They believed love would fix everything. They thought patience would turn the wrong person into the right one. But what Allah shows you clearly does not need to be forced into something else. So if you keep finding yourself justifying the same behavior again and again, if you keep saying, maybe it will get better, while your heart quietly feels otherwise, pause. Because the signs you are excusing today may be the very reasons you regret tomorrow. And Allah, in His mercy, does not hide the truth from you. He shows it early, but He leaves the decision in your hands. If they drain your soul, instead of elevating it, they are not meant to stay. Look closely at how you feel, not just when you are with them, but after everything becomes quiet again. After the messages stop, after the call ends, after the moment passes, what remains inside you? Do you feel calm or do you feel heavy? Do you feel settled or do you feel restless, thinking about what they meant, what they didn't say, what might happen next? Because this is where the truth lives, not in the sweet moments, but in the silence that follows them. The right person does not leave your heart in confusion. They don't leave you emotionally tired. They don't make you question your worth every time they pull away. Instead, they bring ease, even in small ways. They make your heart feel lighter, not heavier. They make you feel secure, not uncertain. They add to your life, not slowly take from it. But when someone keeps draining you, when your energy feels low after every interaction, when your mind feels crowded with thoughts you didn't have before, that is not love growing. That is your soul getting tired. And the dangerous part is, you don't notice it immediately, because it doesn't happen all at once. It happens slowly. You start losing your focus, your peace, your emotional balance, little by little, until one day you realize you are not the same person you were before them. You feel more anxious, more dependent, more emotionally sensitive to things that never affected you before. And instead of questioning the connection, you try harder. You give more. You explain more. You stay longer, hoping that things will feel better again. But the truth is, what drains you consistently is not meant to stay in your life. Allah does not send someone to slowly empty your heart, to take your peace, to weaken your emotional strength. If a connection is real, it will help you grow. It will bring stability. It will make you feel stronger within yourself, not weaker. So if you feel like you are always giving, always thinking, always trying, but still feeling tired inside, pause for a moment and ask yourself honestly, is this connection filling my heart or quietly draining it? Because sometimes what feels strong is not good for you, and what your heart is holding on to may be the very thing that is slowly exhausting your soul. When you start losing yourself, it means you were never meant to lose them. There was a version of you before all of this, a version that felt more stable, more sure of itself, more at peace with who you were. You didn't overthink every message. You didn't wait for someone's reply to feel okay. Your mood didn't rise and fall based on someone else's attention. You were you, but slowly, without even realizing it, that started to change. You began adjusting yourself just to keep them comfortable. You started choosing your words carefully, holding back your true feelings, trying not to say the wrong thing, trying not to lose them. And little by little, you stopped showing up as your full self. You became quieter in some moments, more anxious in others, more dependent on how they treated you than you ever expected to be. And the hardest part is, you didn't even notice when it began, because it didn't happen all at once. It happened slowly, through small compromises, small silences, small moments where you chose them over yourself. You told yourself, this is love, that caring this much is normal, that adjusting is part of building something real. But there is a difference between growing with someone and losing yourself for someone. The right person will never require you to shrink your personality, to hide your truth, to question your worth, or to feel like you have to earn basic respect. They will meet you where you are, not slowly pull you away from yourself. But when you start feeling like you are not acting like yourself anymore, When you notice that your confidence has changed, your peace has changed, your emotional balance has changed, that is not a small sign. That is a warning. Because Allah did not create you to lose yourself in someone who is not written for you. He created you with dignity, with value, with a heart that deserves to feel safe and respected, not confused and controlled by someone else's behavior. And sometimes, Allah allows you to go through this. Not to keep that person, but to show you something deeper, to show you how easily you can drift away from who you are when you attach your heart to the wrong place. So if you feel like you are slowly disappearing, trying to hold on to someone who keeps making you feel uncertain, pause and remind yourself of this truth. You were never meant to lose yourself just to keep someone who was never meant to stay. Confusion is not love. It is a sign. You are forcing what Allah did not write. There is a kind of tiredness that doesn't come from work. It comes from thinking too much about someone, replaying conversations, reading between the lines, wondering what they meant, why they said that, why they went silent, why they came back, and then disappeared again. Your mind stays busy, but your heart never feels settled. One moment you feel close to them, the next moment you feel distant. One day they make you feel important. The next day, you feel invisible, and you sit there, trying to make sense of it all. You call it love, because it feels intense, because it keeps you thinking, because it pulls your emotions in different directions. But real love does not feel like a puzzle you are constantly trying to solve. It does not leave you guessing your place in someone's life. It does not require you to decode silence or search for meaning in mixed signals. Love may not always be perfect, but it brings a sense of clarity, a quiet understanding, a feeling that you don't have to question everything all the time. But confusion, constant confusion, is something else. It is what happens when your heart is trying to hold on to something that is not aligned with what Allah has written for you. Because what Allah writes for you comes with a kind of ease. Not that everything becomes simple, but your heart does not feel like it is in a constant battle. You don't feel like you are chasing answers or forcing clarity where there is none. But when something is not written for you, it often feels exactly like this: unclear, unstable, emotionally exhausting. And instead of stepping back, you try harder. You give more attention, more patience, more understanding, hoping that if you just do enough, things will finally make sense. But forcing something that is not written will never bring you peace. It will only keep you stuck in a cycle of hope and confusion. And the hardest part is, you don't let go. Because there are moments that feel real, moments that feel right, moments that make you believe this could work. But those moments are not the full truth. Because if something was truly meant for you, it would not leave your heart in constant uncertainty. It would not make you question your worth, or your place, or your value. So if you feel like you are always confused, always unsure, always trying to understand where you stand, pause for a moment and ask yourself honestly, is this bringing me clarity, or am I forcing something that was never written for me? Because sometimes the confusion you feel is not a sign to hold on tighter. It is a sign from Allah, gently telling you, this is not where your heart belongs. You are not holding on to them. You are holding on to a fear. Allah is trying to heal. Be very honest with yourself. Not with your words, but with your heart. Why are you still holding on? Is it truly because this person is right for you? Or is it because the thought of letting go feels too heavy? Because sometimes, what feels like love is actually fear, wearing the face of attachment, fear of being alone, fear of starting over, fear that you may never find someone again, fear that all the time, energy, and emotions you invested will go to waste. And this fear is powerful. It doesn't shout. It whispers. It tells you, just stay a little longer. Maybe things will change. What if this? is your only chance. So you hold on, not because your heart feels at peace, but because your heart is afraid of emptiness. And slowly, that fear begins to control your decisions. You start accepting less than you deserve, tolerating what hurts you, staying in situations that quietly break you, all because leaving feels more painful than staying. But what if the real pain is not in letting go? What if the real pain is in holding on to something that is not meant for you? Because Allah is not trying to take something good away from you. He is trying to heal something inside you. That fear of being alone, that fear of not being enough, that fear of not being chosen. These are not signs to settle. These are wounds that need to be healed, not covered with the presence of the wrong person. And sometimes, Allah allows you to feel this attachment so deeply so that you can finally see what is really controlling your heart. Not love, but fear. Because what is truly written for you will not make you feel like this is your only chance. It will not make you feel like you have to hold on tightly, or else you will lose everything. What is written for you will come with a sense of trust, a quiet knowing that you don't have to chase it, you don't have to force it, and you definitely don't have to stay out of fear. So if you feel like you cannot let go, ask yourself gently, am I holding on to them? Or am I holding on to a fear I haven't healed yet? Because sometimes Allah doesn't remove someone from your life immediately. He shows you the fear behind your attachment, so you can finally face it, heal it, and free your heart from it. And when you do, you will realize you were never afraid of losing them. You were afraid of being without what you thought they gave you. But what Allah has written for you will never require fear to keep it. It will stay, because it was always meant to. That unexplainable feeling in your heart is a warning your mind keeps silencing. There is a feeling inside you, and you can't fully explain it. Nothing clear has happened. Nothing you can prove. No strong evidence you can point to. And yet, something in your heart keeps whispering, this doesn't feel right. It shows up in quiet moments, when you are alone, when everything slows down, when you are no longer distracted. A small discomfort, a heaviness, a lack of ease that you can't ignore, no matter how much you try. And every time it comes, you do the same thing. You silence it. You tell yourself, I'm just overthinking. I'm being negative. I need to trust more. You distract yourself with their good moments. You focus on the things that feel right. You remind yourself why you stayed. And for a moment, the feeling fades, but it never disappears. It comes back again and again and again, because that feeling is not random. It is not weakness, and it is not imagination. Allah created your heart with a kind of awareness, a quiet ability to sense what your eyes cannot fully see yet. Your mind looks for proof, for logic, for clear reasons. But your heart feels what is hidden, what is not yet obvious, what is beneath the surface. And when your heart keeps sending you the same signal over and over again, it is not something small. It is something you were meant to notice. The danger is not the feeling itself. The danger is ignoring it until it becomes too loud to avoid. Because when you keep silencing your heart, you slowly disconnect from the guidance Allah placed within you. You begin to trust your emotions less, your instincts less, your inner clarity less. And then you stay longer than you should. You ignore more than you should. You accept things you once would have walked away from, all because you chose to listen to your mind over what your heart was quietly trying to tell you. But understand this gently. That feeling is not there to confuse you. It is there to protect you. It is a mercy, not a burden. So the next time that quiet discomfort returns, don't rush to silence it. Don't cover it with excuses. Don't push it away with distractions. Pause, sit with it, and listen. Because Sometimes, the warning you are waiting for is not something you will hear from the outside. It is something Allah has already placed inside your heart, and it will keep speaking until you are ready to stop ignoring it. If they pull you away from Allah, they are not a blessing, they are a test. Look carefully at what has changed inside you, not in your feelings for them, but in your connection with Allah. Before this person, your heart had a rhythm. You prayed with more presence. You remembered Allah in quiet moments. You felt a certain closeness, even if it wasn't perfect. But now, something feels different. Your mind is more occupied with them than with your Creator. Your thoughts return to them again and again, even in moments that used to belong to Allah. Your focus in prayer feels weaker. Your consistency feels unstable. Your heart feels distracted, and you try to ignore it. You tell yourself, this is just how it is. I'll fix my Deen later. Once things settle, I'll come back stronger. But slowly, your priorities begin to shift. Their message becomes more important than your salah. Their attention becomes more powerful than your peace. Their presence starts to fill a space in your heart that was meant only for Allah. And this is where the test begins, because not everything that feels strong is good for you. Not everything that enters your life is a blessing. Some people are sent as a mirror to show you what happens when your heart attaches to creation more than the Creator. And the truth is, the right person will never compete with your Deen. They will never pull you away from Allah. They will never become a distraction from your purpose. They will never make you feel like you have to choose between them and your faith. Instead, they will remind you of Allah, even without trying. They will make your heart softer, your actions better, your connection stronger. But when someone becomes the reason your heart feels distant from Allah, when your remembrance weakens, when your focus shifts, when your spiritual strength begins to fade, that is not a small sign. That is a test of what matters more in your heart. Because Allah, in His wisdom, sometimes allows someone to come close to you just to show you how easily your heart can drift. Not to punish you, but to bring you back, to remind you that your peace, your stability, your true sense of security was never meant to come from a person. It was always meant to come from Him. So if you feel like this connection is slowly pulling you away from Allah, don't ignore it. Don't delay it. Don't convince yourself it will fix itself. Pause and ask yourself honestly, is this bringing me closer to Allah or quietly taking me away? Because anything that distances you from Allah, no matter how beautiful it looks, cannot be a blessing. It is a test. And sometimes, the way you pass that test is not by holding on, but by letting go for the sake of the one who never leaves you. The pain you feel is not from losing them. It is from staying where you don't belong. There's a kind of pain you can't easily explain. It's not loud. It's not always visible, but it sits quietly in your chest and follows you even in moments that should feel normal. You try to smile. You try to distract yourself. You try to hold everything together, but deep inside, something feels heavy, and you tell yourself, I'm afraid of losing them. But if you slow down and listen carefully to your heart, you will realize something deeper. The pain is not just about losing them. The pain is coming from staying in a place where your soul no longer feels at ease. Because when you are where you don't belong, your heart knows. Even if your mind keeps making excuses, even if your emotions keep holding on, your soul feels the weight of it. You feel it in the constant overthinking, in the emotional ups and downs, in the quiet exhaustion that never fully goes away. You feel it when you are alone, when everything becomes silent, and you can no longer distract yourself from what your heart has been trying to tell you all along. And still, you stay. Not because it feels right, but because leaving feels harder. Because leaving means accepting a truth you were hoping would change. That this person may not be written for you, that this connection may not become what you imagined, that what you held on to so tightly may not be yours to keep. And that realization hurts. But understand this gently. The pain you feel is not a sign that you should stay. It is a sign that something inside you is out of place. Because Allah, in His mercy, does not let your heart feel comfortable in what is not meant for you. If He allowed you to feel completely at peace in the wrong place, you would never leave. So He places a discomfort, a quiet heaviness, a feeling that doesn't let you fully settle, not to punish you, but to guide you, to slowly show you this is not where you belong. And the longer you ignore that feeling, the heavier it becomes. Because your soul was not created to live in confusion, in uncertainty, in emotional instability. It was created for peace, for clarity, for something that feels right without forcing it. So if staying is hurting you more than the thought of leaving, if you feel like you are constantly carrying something heavy inside, pause and ask yourself with honesty, am I afraid of losing them? Or am I afraid of finally accepting that this is not meant for me? Because sometimes letting go is not losing. It is returning to where your heart was always meant to be. And when you finally choose to leave what does not belong to you, you will realize something beautiful. The pain was never a sign to hold on. It was Allah, gently guiding you away from what was never written for you and closer to what is. My dear brother, my dear sister, sometimes the hardest truth to accept is not that someone hurt you, it's that you stayed, even when Allah was showing you again and again that this is not where your heart belongs. You saw the signs, you felt the heaviness, you noticed the change inside you, but you kept holding on, hoping it would turn into something it was never meant to be. And that doesn't make you weak. It means you cared. It means your heart was sincere. But now, it's time to be honest with yourself. Not every person you feel deeply for is written for you, and not every connection that feels strong is meant to stay. Sometimes, Allah doesn't remove someone immediately. He lets you feel the distance, the confusion, the discomfort, until you finally understand. This is not love. This is a lesson to protect your peace, to protect your dignity, to protect your connection with Him. So if your heart has been feeling heavy, if something inside you keeps telling you, this isn't right, don't ignore it anymore. Because what Allah has written for you will not confuse you, will not break you, will not pull you away from Him. It will find you with ease, it will stay with peace, and it will feel right without you forcing it. So let go, not because you lost them, but because Allah is guiding you back to something better, something pure, something that will not cost you your soul. And trust this with all your heart. What is meant for you will never require you to lose yourself to keep it. If this message touched your heart, don't scroll away like it meant nothing. Take a moment, reflect on what you're feeling, and be honest with yourself. Because sometimes one reminder can change the direction of your entire life. And if you know, deep inside, that this is something you needed to hear today, then stay connected. Subscribe to Deenpedia, where we remind each other of what truly matters, where every message is meant to bring you closer to Allah and back to your true self. Share this with someone who might be silently struggling, because you never know, this could be the reminder that saves a heart. And before you leave, ask Allah for clarity, ask Him for strength, and ask Him to remove anything from your life that is not good for your deen, your heart, and your future. Because the moment you choose Allah, Allah chooses what is best for you.